This is a basic video, but I've seen a question or two about it and I can't find much of anything else online. So I'm going to show you how to take out the high brake light or third brake light on the Mondeo and get at the bulbs. I've done other videos previously about the main tail lights and their brake lights and retrofitting LEDs, but never the high level one. Now on the hatchback, it's easiest to lift up the hatch itself to get access and take out the parcel tray. On the Estate and the Sedan, I think this is different, and later models might have changed the design a bit too, but on my car there are just two screws either side which you take out with a cross driver. If there are no screws, there will be clips instead. They'll be on the upper side away from the glass, so just pull them out with a bit of force and it should come away. Once the screws are out or the clips are loose, the cover unit will fall away, although the light is still part of it and obviously still connected to its cable. The cable loom clips onto the side of the light unit, so you can just unhook that. And then the plug on the cable is a simple tab arrangement. You just need to squeeze it in and it will come off like so. Then you have this entire thing away from the car, and you need to separate the light unit itself to get at the bulbs. It's just held in place with these two clips, one on either side. So if you just lever them out like that, it will come away. And then the red tint lens needs to come away from the bulb socket board. It's just held in place again with these clips. There are clips there, and on either end. They're not difficult to depress, but the problem is that you have to sort of do them all at once. So the trick is to do one end at a time, and then the side ones, and just using a little blade like you see me doing here is helpful. Okay, and once you've got the tabs, it will just come off like that. And this thing is not symmetrical. There's a little nib here you can see is on the one side but not the other, and it has to line up with that tab on the housing when you put it back together. Anyway, now you have access to the bulbs and the 5 bulbs. And these are just conventional 5 watt 501 or T10 wedge bulbs. You just pull one out like so, and then put in a replacement. Easy. Now, I will say here, if you're thinking about an LED upgrade, I don't think it's a very good idea to try to install retrofit T10 LEDs. The reason being, as you can see, this thing has a very carefully designed reflector housing with this very precise silvered parabolic dish for each bulb. This is designed to reflect light behind your car, obviously, rather than out into space. And by making the light sort of parallel like this, it forms a complete bar of light when you're looking at it from behind. And that depends on the light source, i.e. the filament in these incandescent bulbs, being in precisely the right location. You can see the filament here sort of right down the bottom of the dish that's formed by the reflector. Now, if you try to use an LED in each of these, it just won't be the same. It'll disrupt the reflector design, and what you'll end up with looking from behind is 5 little points of light. They might be quite bright, but they won't form a neat area of red light. Like this entire area won't be formed properly with light. Now, if you can find LEDs that precisely replicate the incandescence, with even all-around light, so it needs to go sideways as well as forward firing, then this wouldn't apply. But I've never found any like that. If you insist on an LED retrofit, the right way to do it would be to replace this entire box with a proper LED unit that would need to be sized to fit. Or I've seen some other people just stick some LED cob boards across the front here and wire them up. The problem with that, of course, is that you've got a cob here that's visible from outside the car, so whenever the brake light's not being used, it doesn't look very good, and it's a bit amateurish. But you can make it work. Although the other issue is it will probably violate all the relevant laws in whatever regulatory environment you live in. I don't see the point in bothering with LEDs in the brake light, in the high brake light, because with these low-powered 5-watt brake bulbs, there's no advantage really to be had from LEDs. They're already perfectly bright enough. They're only 5 watts each, so they don't take any time really to reach their full brightness, which is often the argument you hear being made for LED brake lights. And they're only, brake lights are only on intermittently, so longevity isn't much of an argument either. I don't think these last a long time. I've never actually replaced one of these. Okay, so this all just goes back together like that, and make sure these clips are back in, make sure it's the right way around, and then it can go back in the car. Reconnect the plug, clip its wire back into the hook on the side, and then the entire thing can be pushed back onto the windscreen in place. And then the screws go back in, of course, if you had screws. Then you're done. Just check that all of the bulbs are working as expected. Have somebody put their foot on the brake or rest a weight on it so you can see for yourself. Final comment, if you're getting water inside the high-level brake housing and maybe it's leaking out and dribbling down the inside of the rear windscreen, the likely culprit is the rear washer jet. Two possibilities: either the seal in the hatch where the washer jet mounts has failed and it's leaking rainwater, or the hose from the washer pump has started to leak behind it. Either way, this is a water leak directly above the brake light, so the water just finds its way down into it and is sort of collected by the plastic housing, and then maybe makes its way down further and out onto the glass. Okay, that's it. Have fun.